Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
The biggest injury that has happened to the Braves this year is without a doubt Ronald Acuña Jr., the former MVP, reigning MVP, the guy who had 40 homers, 70-plus stolen bases last year, of course, left us early this season with yet again a knee injury that was season-ending. And ever since then, there has been this talking point, this chatter about Atlanta, quote-unquote, replacing Ronald Acuña. Now, I want to take that word for a second, replacing, because I don't like that word when it comes to this situation. I don't think it's fair to use that word. No one can replace Ronald Acuña. No one can single-handedly replace the production of Ronald Acuña Jr., and if they can, that's great, but they can't replace who he is on this team. It just doesn't happen. But when it comes to the trade deadline, what you can say is the Braves are going to have to find a way to add production offensively. No doubt about it, because we are lacking in that department. So when you talk about the trade deadline, the Braves are always going to be one of the teams that you focus on, because the history that the Braves have at the trade deadline. You look at 2021, you see what happened, and you see what happened come that October. Naturally, you're going to hope that they do that once again this year. And there's a lot of similarities this year in 2024 that there were in 2021. We've talked about that multiple times. One of those similarities, probably the biggest similarity, is the loss of Ronald Acuña Jr. Early in 2021, the Braves lost Acuña to his first knee injury. Here we are once again, and it's led to people suggesting a similar trade deadline that we had in 2021. I know some of you secretly want Jorge Soler, Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario to all come back and be a part of this team going forward. I don't think it's likely. In fact, I think it's highly unlikely that all that happens. I don't think it's likely that any of them show back up. But with Ronald Acuña and Michael Harris now being injured, there's no doubt that the Braves are in search for an outfielder. No doubt about it. And a quote-unquote replacement may be needed either for this year or for this year and beyond. I would argue that it's needed based on the way the lineup looks. And it's not like we have a bunch of scrubs in the lineup. You have Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy. Can't forget Marcell Ozuna. You have a ton of guys there that hit for power, are great for your offense, but what I think is missing, to be honest with you, is someone like a Nick Markakis. You don't have a complete hitter. You don't have a hitter that can get on base. You don't have a hitter that can knock guys in when they're in scoring position. You just don't have a lot of that. I think the closest thing we have to it right now is Jared Kelenic, and I know he's been hitting, the leather off the ball here lately, but that's not my point. My point is when you look at this lineup, it's a lot of similar hitters. Even Adam Duvall is power first. And speaking of Adam Duvall, let's talk about that for a second, because a lot of you guys have gone into the comment section this week on different videos and said, Tyler, when are we getting rid of Adam Duvall? I bet you were eating crow when he walked it off last night. I bet you were.
Are you ready to save big on a new GMC?
At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, you can own one of the best-selling vehicles in the USA. The GMC Sierra pickup is discounted up to $14,500 off. The roomy and comfortable GMC Terrains are up to $8,250 off. And the GMC Acadias with 3 spacious rows and seating for 7, discounted up to $8,000 off. At Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika,
Get ready to smile.
Here's the thing. You can't ignore the issue. Adam Duvall has not been hitting well, before that at least. And there's no doubt about that. But you also got to understand, Adam Duvall is not playing the role that he was initially planned to play. He was supposed to only be hitting against lefties. And now he's having to start against both righties and lefties. And it's not fair to him. When he got the double yesterday, who was it off of? It was off of a lefty, right? So that's my point. I think Duvall belongs in a platoon at this point for sure. And I hate to say that because Duvall is a great hitter and, it is what it is. But Duvall has never been a 300 hitter. He's never been a guy that's going to give you a 340 batting average at the end of the year. He's a guy that's going to hit 25 homers and hit around 200. It just is what it is. But it's much more noticeable when the lineup is not working as planned. It just is what it is. Now, in terms of replacement, in terms of who can come in and replicate what Ronald Acuña left behind, there are some names out there for sure that are drawing interest. It all really depends on what you want. We can sit here and throw names out left and right. If you search the Braves on Google right now and go to your news tab, you're going to see about 20 theories of who people think we're going to go get. I don't think that's worth doing. I think that's a waste of your time. The fact is, they need a bat. That's what they need. They need someone who can come in and produce. I'll throw these out there just to entertain you guys. If you're just looking for a pure rental, if you're looking for a guy who's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, nothing beyond that, and frankly pretty cheap, you're looking at a Michael Conforto, you're looking at a Jesse Winker, you're looking at Tommy Pham, Tyler O'Neill. If you're looking for a guy to not only be here for this year, but also next, you got Luis Robert Jr., you got Lane Thomas, former Atlanta Brave with the Nationals. I think you could get him pretty cheap, to be honest with you. If you're looking for someone to be a career Brave, if you're looking for someone to be here for quite a while and be here during the competitive stretch, you have Brent Rooker of the A's, who I like a lot. Taylor Ward of the Angels, which I think is very attainable considering where they are this year. Dalton Varsho with the Blue Jays. I don't like that one as much. And Randy Arozarena and Jose Siri from the Rays. Again, I don't love those, but they're out there. People are talking about them, so I'm going to mention it.
Are you ready to save big on a new Chevrolet?
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox, discounted up to $6,500 off. The powerful Chevy Silverados are up to $13,750 off. And the big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs are discounted up to $6,000 off. Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika.
Get ready to smile.
But when it comes to these names, again, remember, no one, that's double underlined on my notes, by the way, no one will replace Ronald Acuña. Nobody will. Nobody will be Ronald Acuña Jr. Nobody will be the MVP. Nobody will be 40 homers, 70 stolen bases. Nobody will be as electric as Ronald Acuña Jr. when they're brought in from the trade deadline. And it's not fair for us to expect them to be. Even Jock Peterson back in 2021, in that letter he wrote, which is right here behind me, even then, he said he could never be Ronald Acuña Jr., but he can be Jock Peterson. So, whoever it is that the Braves bring in, whether it be a hitter, whether it be a pitcher, whatever it may be, you may not be looking for one player. You may be looking for some combination that will replace Ronald Acuña's production, right? Think about it. In 2021, who did we trade for? Adam Duvall, Jorge Soler, Eddie Rosario, and Jock Peterson, right? It took 4 outfielders to replace that kind of production. They were all used masterfully through the postseason. In 2024, what are we doing right now to replace the production of Ronald Acuña? Well, let's think about it. Jared Kelenic, Adam Duvall, Ramon Laureano, Forrest Wall, JP Martinez, Luke Williams, etc., etc., etc. Right? We've had a ton of it. We are throwing the book at it. We're trying to figure it out from our internal options. And so far, a lot of these guys have been really good. Forrest Wall, I think, has been really great and has met expectations, probably exceeded them. JP Martinez filled the role. Luke Williams has filled the role. Ramon Laureano, before he got hurt, I thought was hitting very well. They are doing well. But I know as well as you do that we need someone who can start. And I don't know that any of those guys outside of Kelenic and maybe even Duvall are there. You know, Ramon Laureano is certainly on his way back. Maybe he gets another chance after he gets healthy. But at the end of the day, guys, the lineup is shifting. It's evolving every single day. It's changing. We're not used to that. We are not used to seeing this Braves lineup change very much at all unless someone got a day off. That is not how last year went, but it's how this year is going so far. It will continue to evolve. And come the trade deadline, I believe the outfield will improve dramatically.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.